kind of made the leap, huh?
What's that?
Kind of made the leap to local models.
Yes. So that, I guess that's the precursor. Like, it was an event, like all the local model stuff. I was finally like, I'm going to buy some GPUs. But no one showed pictures, so I have some pictures of my setup. Just because like I didn't have a model, and I made some mistakes, by the way. So I have to actually buy a new motherboard and some other things because I was only going to have 2 GPUs. Just like that's where I was like, oh, I'm just going to like try this out. I have 4 GPUs now. I bought 2 the weekend before I went to AI Engineer last week, and so yeah, I actually had this. This is the EVGA GeForce RTX 3090 Ti, and I had a 3080 that I bought with this off a guy in Cincinnati off Reddit, and I had my Zoe computer like watching Reddit for these, and then it was 2 weekends ago that I was like, well, why didn't I check Facebook Marketplace? And I found 2 3090s on Facebook Marketplace. So by telling you this, now I'm making it more expensive for myself to find GPUs. But yeah, this was like a mint condition, Founders Edition NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3090 Ti. So I have just a regular 3090 and the 3080 at home that isn't hooked up here. So you can see like there's the output ports on this side, motherboard down there, a bunch of power. Each one of these is like 3 810 power connectors, so you need like a good beefy power supply to do it. Yeah, this is the top view, so you can see like these 3 connectors go into this one. I think this one's actually combined all in one. I mean, Zach, you probably know what that's called. I don't even know what that power cord's called. It's like, I don't know. I forget. There was a name for it. You can see I have a 1200 watt power supply. That is not going to be enough to power all my GPUs, so I'm going to have to get like 2 of them to get it all working. The CPU, all the ports I have. By the way, there is a HDMI on here, right there. That does nothing. Because you have to have a CPU that supports video. So, exactly. So I had to plug it into here before I could even see anything. So that was interesting. It's been a while since I built a PC, by the way. I don't think there's anything interesting there, just the fans. These EVGA are more for gaming, so there's like a ton of fans. I think this is clock tire, more power than that one. I noticed, but it's really hard to tell.
Is it still just sitting in your kitchen?
No, I did that. Where it's at is there's a bunch of stuff around it. So like my wife is like, don't you dare take a picture in that room. It's like, take one in the kitchen. I was like, okay.
Support it on the other side? On the right side?
There's screws here and there's a bar right here, and no, there's nothing here. I need to scoot this back, but there's something else in the way. I think it's the power supply is in the way over here. So they're solid. Solid. It hasn't broke yet. It's just another. So PCIe slots. That was another lesson learned. The reason why I need a new board is because there's only one PCI 4x16 channel on this board, and that's only ×1. You can see it there, PCIe ×1. So I actually need a server board that has and a CPU that supports a lot more PCIe channels. A lot of people probably know this, but I had to learn that. So anyways, that's what it looks like. That's my NVMe storage. It's an AM4 style, but I don't remember exactly which one because I was just like, Claude, what's a budget setup just to make these GPUs work? And that's sounds about right. Yeah, but I don't know AMD chips that well. Yeah.
The bottleneck for those buses only really applies while you're loading models. Once they're already loaded, it's not too big of a deal.
Yeah, and that's what Claude told me. So, but I still want the extra power in case I want to train on them. Then you need the bus. I also heard that you don't need the NVLink cord unless you're training, and the cord costs like $2,000 now. So that's something I learned at AI Engineer from Ahmad. Yeah. Yeah. So there's just RAM slots, whatever. Those are boxes. This is one that's not installed. Lots of people keep their boxes, by the way, which is interesting. Oh, I'm already at 5 minutes. So the first thing I did, like once I set up the 2 GPUs, is I used XLlama v3 and tabbyAPI with that. So that's how I was serving the model, and I was doing Gemma 431B would fit onto the GPU VRAM. But I had to adjust it. So like Gemma is a vision model. So if you turn on vision, which is a setting here, where's vision? Vision true. Then you have less room for your caching, for your context window. And so you kind of have to choose like model size, how much caching you want, like what the quantization of your caching is. So like there's a cache setting here. Cache mode right now, it's like 4x4 for K bits, V bits. I think that started at 16 and I had to adjust it up and down based on what I wanted to do. And then the max context window on this is 256, but I'm only actually setting it to 196, 608 so that it fits on these cards. And I think these were the settings actually for the 3090 and the 3080. So when I hooked up the two 3090s, I don't think I adjusted them up. But yeah, so like there's a lot of little knobs to turn, and that's part of this experiment was like understanding how to run inference and all the different knobs that get to turn and like what are the trade-offs. So that's where I was like heading into last week. I went out to AI Engineer. I have the t-shirt on the World's Fair. And there was a local model like mini conference within the conference. So Ahmad on Twitter, follow him. He hates Anthropic. He thinks local models are going to win. He has a bet that in 18 months, GLM 5.2 will fit on a 5090 because of the quantization. Like GPT-4o right now, like that level of knowledge will fit on your phone in a 4 billion parameter model. So like that was a year ago. That was state of the art, like January of 2025, GPT-4o. Also, O3, that was a year ago. Like it was only a year ago that we had O3, and it just released. So that was another like thing that came up during the conference. But so he has Osmantic Deployment System. Osmantic, I think, is his company name. So if we go look here, links to this is on my talk. So if you go to the Tinker's website on the talk, there's a link to it. But there's an install script that will install everything that you need for a local model, local setup. And it doesn't have to be GPUs. It could be my Mac, which it is installed on my Mac. It could be your Mac Mini. It could be a Windows machine. It actually looks at the hardware, decides which model to download. So like there's a different model on here than is on my unit at home. So like right now I'm SSH into that machine. And if I do like NVTop, man, Ghosty is really weird with this right now. Maybe I'm not.
You have to set your display environment variable?
Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with it right now. But if you install this, it basically does everything for you. There's an option to install everything. And so this is the dashboard, and it has AI chat, a voice assistant, document Q&A, workflow automation, image generation, Hermes agent. all of this, there's extensions, integrations, different models that you can download. So like it is everything, and it does everything for you. You see that I'm also getting 46 tokens per second on this, which is it's pretty good. Like if I had like 5090s, I could get more performance out of it. But there's always that trade-off between the size of the model and the speed and latency. But you can see the memory usage in here too. So there's a GPU monitor. You can see each of my machines and how much it's using right now. Nothing's running, but it comes built in with chat. So you could have it explain options trading. That's an example of like how fast it is to run it locally. And so it installed the 3.5 27B model. There's different ways you can set this up too. You can run one big model. You can have multiple models, so you can receive more requests and run them in parallel on smaller models. So there's lots of different factors or different ways that you can set this up to work for you. It installed OpenCode, Perplexa, which is this a research tool? Does anybody know what this is? Like,
Looks like a perplexity clone.
well, okay, open source Perplexity. There's a light LLM API. NAN is installed. It's all running locally.
This is the CDS that did all this.
What's that?
CDS did all this.
ODS, yeah. Yep. So I showed you, like what I did first was the XLlama v3 and tabbyAPI to set it up, and I got it working. I was using it with Pi and Gemma 4. But then when I went to the conference, I like installed this, and it installed all of this stuff for me and chose the right model, and yeah. And there's adjustments. This is Comfy UI is installed on here, which Zachary, I know you had presented a little bit on that. I forget what these are. There's a speech to text, Hermes. There's also image generation here somewhere. And then this is like Llama CPP chat as well. So any questions?
So you're just running the Llama model? Or sorry, you're just running the Qwen model now? Or you have...
Right now it's only the Qwen model. So I would need to shut that down to use the tabbyAPI and start that up with Gemma 4.
Is it available just inside your house? Obviously, you're connecting to stuff here.
I'm using Tailscale. Yeah, and so you can set up HTTP endpoints with Tailscale, and that's what I'm using for each of these.
And then are you doing like model routing, or is everything just going to this?
Right now, everything is using the Qwen model. But if you, where'd the first one go? This one, you go to models, it will actually tell you which ones are good for your hardware. It does an evaluation. So if it's GPU, and then
Intelligence is good enough with Qwen 3.5?
I haven't had enough time to play with it. You know, it was like I installed it on Monday, and then the workshop went terrible, by the way. Like the Wi-Fi was out. I was tethered, so like that's how I got installed. He ended up like not doing the full thing and walking people through it, and he just answered questions. But it was like later I started playing. I was like, holy crap! Like this has everything in here. You know, like his whole thing is to get local, like people to use local AI. So that's why he built this. He's starting a company, Osmantic. Neil.
Well, first, kind of, can anyone apply to like demo here?
Yeah, it's on the website, Columbus, the AI Tinkerers, columbus.aitinkerers.org. You can submit a proposal demo.
Cool. And then the other thing, and I promise this is not trying to be like a smart ass. Like, is there like a reason to have like a local machine as opposed to like just hosting it on AWS?
Yeah, unlimited inference mainly.
Yeah, I'm not renting, I'm owning, so you pay up front, but then the models are smart enough now that there's a lot of use cases that you don't need the biggest model, and that's always going to evolve. So this is like a point in time, and open source is always 6 to 9 months behind the frontier. And I would say GLM 5.2, it's actually closer, but it's too big to host. unless you have like 8 RTX 6000s or something.
Actually, I was looking at it, and yeah, AWS doesn't allow like the most state-of-the-art models. It's like Qwen, like so. That makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
we got lots of
can you
hands.
tell any difference between like running on NVIDIA versus M chip? You know, like I've got an M1 Max with all the extra GPUs, and it's pretty fast. I just wondered, you like, where's it better to put your money to buy a Max M chip with a bunch of RAM?
Let me bring up the web. So he actually answered this question.
Your prefill is going to be very slow on a Mac. That's like the main disadvantage
Okay.
So
compared to NVIDIA.
so let's see, Hardware Arena. He has a Blackwell tower set up, so it's the stats are on here about the lab. So there's 2 RTX Pro 6000s, 96 gigs of RAM, M5 MacBook Pro, Strix Halo, DGX Spark, and OpenAI is so you can like ask a question and you can compare them and see like what the difference is. So with those you're getting a ton more tokens per second, and then it shows you evaluation. And then part of this is also comparing local. So if you look at the M5 Mac Pro, there's also like a pre-warm, pre-fill time. That's why you see the MacBook takes a little bit, but then it kind of catches up. But this is illustrating that your memory bandwidth is like a big factor in this as well. That's why DGX Spark, which is on here as well, is not very fast because there's not much memory bandwidth. I think it's 235 megabits per second or something. Whereas these are like the 3090s are 900 and some megabytes per second. And then 4090 is more, 5090 is more. So the bandwidth gets bigger. The RTX 6000 Blackwell's, the bandwidth's even bigger. And that's why you can get that 700 tokens per second.
I'm guessing if you have a server class AMD chip, it's gonna have a lot of memory bandwidth too.
Yeah, correct. Doing the calculations on CPU versus GPU, is that what you're?
No, I just meant moving data to the CPU.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So if we do the Spark as well, which is like $4,000 right now, $4,500 maybe. So yeah, you're getting fairly slow, but my time is
we
up.
have a few more questions, but like, Brandon, do you want to start setting up?
Sure. You got this one.
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
Might be a novice question, but following up on the question here, if I have sub-agents running and, I have my main agent and then sub-agents, how does that work on a local? Seems like they all take memory, and you would fill up your memory trying to run 5 or 6 or even 2
So
models at the same time.
here, just microphone. So that's what I was saying. You can have one big model that serves all of your requests. They're all going to be waiting. But if you serve multiple like small models, so like I could put a smaller one on each GPU, and then I can do 2 parallel requests. You have a better answer?
I do. So if you're using the same model for your sub-agent and your primary agent, you can actually do separate contexts with the same model as long as you have enough memory to do so. So that way you don't have to load the model twice. Otherwise, you could just have one model with one context await the other, like the same model with a different context, and they'll just work in serial.
Is there a limit how many sub-models you can have running?
That depends on how much memory you have.
Yeah, okay.
But typically you can have like maybe about 500 megabytes to a gig will get you enough of a decent context window per context.
Rick, you have a question?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you see people buying more like hardware for specifically at home, like setting up their own rigs and things like that, especially just getting back from the conference? Do you see that being a bigger trend?
Depending on how things go, you might not be able to buy it. That's like, if you want it, buy it now. If you think that they won't be available, buy it now. if you don't think that is the future, that's going to happen, that GPUs will be scarce, then wait, you know, like, fair enough. But Ahmad is like, you need to buy it now. Everything's above MSRP, even on used GPUs, and it's only probably going to go up. I can't predict the future, but
Well, it's gonna take years to catch up with the supply, the demand, I mean.
Again, a minimum of 3 to 5 years before things might get better.
yeah. So
Good advice.
I'm experimenting now, so I know how to do it. I'm obviously just getting started, and I learned things from Zachary for sure. So.
It's a Zach GPT.
Yeah, exactly.